Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Anime Humble here, coming at you with part 12 of What If Naruto was like Minato, otherwise known as Return of the Flash on Wattpad. And, just a few things real quick. If you want to watch another series or some other videos by me, I do have another series called What If Naruto Was Consumed by Darkness. I think it's pretty okay. I think it's, it's a little, the episodes are shorter than this for sure. Sometimes I had a video with like 6 minutes. So if you don't have the time or if you, feel a little off-put by the longer style of video, you should watch that series. Give it a little love. I'd appreciate that. Like, comment, and subscribe. I respond to all comments, and I heart all comments, and I like all comments, and I really appreciate them as well. And yeah, if you just want to have a conversation down in the comment section, you can have one because I'm always open to having one myself. So without further ado, let's get right on into this. Oh, actually, sorry, real quick. I'm going to be starting a new style. I'm going to be trying to keep the videos to about a half hour to 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, because I know an hour-long episode can be a little off-putting, and then it gets a little frustrating just in case you have to rewatch it. So I'm going to be, trying to tone down on the time a little bit. So right now it's about 12 o'clock, so about 12:30 I'll probably end this video. And if I need to make another part of this, then I will. But if I feel like I can push it till the end, because a lot of these chapters are very long. If I feel like I can push it to the end, then I will. But without further ado, let's get on to the video. The people of the town had rejoiced on knowing that Gato was finally dead and Tazuna could continue building his bridge in peace. The team returned to Tazuna's house to rest. Everyone had been running on adrenaline the whole fight, so after the high was over, everyone was notably exhausted. Naruto had, much to Sasuke's extreme embarrassment, carried Sasuke back to Tazuna's house in bridal style, easily ignoring feeble attempts to let him go. Oh, I forgot to plug my mic in. Attempts to let him go. Sasuke had demanded Naruto to put him down. Naruto had smirked and in an all too innocent voice said that Sasuke was too injured and that his teammates to help him. Sorry, I was plugging my mic in. To help him. When Sasuke asked why he didn't carry him like he did with Kakashi, Naruto smirked and replied, "I just felt like embarrassing you." What Sasuke didn't know was that after the carnage that Naruto performed, he needed some form of relief. Unfortunately for Sasuke, comic relief was always worked well for Naruto. Naruto kept his amusement to himself, lest Sasuke reverted to sticking senbon in his body from cursing like a sailor. After that, things in the town were slowly getting back to normal. Naruto and Kakashi performed a raid at Gato's headquarters the night after the Battle of the Bridge, which they found out after asking for directions from the residents. They were surprised that many of them knew the place but avoided it due to fear. They had ransacked the entire place, looking for the money they knew that Gato had kept. It was actually a good distraction for Naruto and a very beneficial one at that. Quick flashback. Kakashi and Naruto entered the area of Gato, on full alert for any traps that lay ahead. They were here to find and confiscate all the money and valuables that Gato had earned over the years. Kakashi turned to Naruto. "Alright, Naruto, here's where we split up. We probably don't have to worry about these thugs anymore, because he brought them all to the bridge. But just in case there are, be on guard. You will search the main building where the money is likely kept. I will be scouring the warehouses. Since this country was not that rich to begin with, Gato would not be that interested in what it had to offer, instead letting his thugs have it and concentrating on his businesses. I will find the valuables and any evidence that can ensure that Gato's shipping company is shut down for good. All clear?" Naruto gave a silent nod, and as one, they dashed to complete their respective objectives. Naruto extended his senses and couldn't sense anyone, so he pushed on without hesitating. He blew the front door open with glee that he rarely felt. Perhaps I should blow things up more often, he mused. He climbed the stairs, carefully checking for traps and places he suspected they would be, but found nothing on the first 2 or 3 floors. He was almost disappointed. Almost. He missed it. It was only after his lifting his foot that he heard the subtle click. The door was locked and his danger sense rang. Slowing down his perception, he turned around just in time to see almost 50 knives rushing towards him, leaving no space for him to escape. He was insulted. "Futon, Toppa!" Wind-style breakthrough, and all the knives were blown back. Scoffing, he shook his head and simply jumped on the ceiling. Who would think to lay traps on the ceiling? He easily walked upside down and jumped down in front of the doors he saw. He opened it and looked around, noting that it was Gato's study. Eyes sweeping around, there was nothing worth nothing worth noting except for a small safe. There has to be something important in here, he thought, as he tried to figure out a way to open it. As much as he would like to, blowing it open was not an option, as he risked blowing up its contents as well. His eyes roamed around looking for a clue. He spotted a piece of paper that was sticking out of the lamp. Curiosity growing, he plucked that piece of paper and had to keep himself from cackling like a devil. The safe combinations laid bare just like that? Hurriedly, he put the combinations in and watched the safe open. To his mild disappointment, there was only a sealed envelope inside. Just what is he playing at? He muttered. Turning around, his eyes narrowed as his fingers brushed across something. Dried glue. He inspected as he tore it with little difficulty. He took out another piece of paper and read it, seeing a whole new set of numbers written in similar format in comparison to the other piece of paper. He chuckled. This guy's just asking to get robbed. Looking around for one last time, noting there wasn't another safe, he got out of the study and walked down to the last room on the floor. He opened it, and after seeing what was in there, he shook his head in disappointment. Leaving so many open doors, what the hell is he thinking? He asked himself as he was walking close to the enormous vault door to put in the combinations. He felt almost bored as he put the combinations. The dwarf's memory must be terrible if he needs clues to remember his clues. He opened the door and barely kept his jaw from touching the ground. The piles of money taller than him stood in front of him. If Naruto had ever dreamed of drowning in piles of money, this would be defined as dreams turning into reality. Let's get to work then. All of this should be pretty useful in helping this country get back on its feet and then some, he decided as he prepared to make some shadow clones. But suddenly a thought struck him. A thought that made his mind start wheeling. From the way he was thinking, all the parties could be benefited from this, including him. But first, he needed to know how much this money was. Within a moment, 20 shadow clones popped into existence. Start counting, he commanded. The clones divided themselves into groups of 5 and started counting by dividing the pile into smaller groups. It felt like an eternity, and Naruto feared that Kakashi would suddenly burst through the door. But a call from one of the clones caught his attention as he was looking through the ground. Boss, we're done, he called out. Naruto turned back to see that one large pile had been divided into 5 smaller groups. He mentally dispelled them and his eyes widened at how much the money was. 100 million Ryo, he thought, dumbfounded. What the hell was he planning to do with all this money, he asked himself. He pondered over that for a while, in the meantime sending a shadow clone to give Kakashi a report of what he found. Altered, of course. Finally, he came to a decision. Considering this was a high A-rank mission, 1 million Ryo could be taken from this and ease the burden off Tazuna from the 99 million that would remain. He would leave 99 million for Wave Country, while the rest of it he would take for himself. Now, that would normally make him feel disgusted with himself, taking the money that should go to the people of Wave Country, unless he hadn't taken a look at Gato's records. Wave wasn't a rich country to begin with, so Gato didn't have much to siphon off. But what he did was no small figure. 30 million collected over a number of years was a very large amount. That tremendously eased the burden of guilt he was feeling in his mind. He was giving back 3 times the original amount of money. With a firm nod to himself, took out 3 sealing scrolls. With the help of clones, he divided the money into 3 parts, one for Konoha, one for Wave, and one for himself. He sealed his part first and put it in his right hip pouch, just in time as Kakashi entered the room. What a ridiculous amount of money, he breathed. Naruto slipped into his normal and innocent mode, the mode he usually used to take the blame off of himself after pranks. Keeping his voice level, he nodded and said, "Yeah, makes you want to think what you would do with this kind of money." They both looked at the pile of money. Naruto added, "I already divided the pile up. 1 million for the cost of this mission, 90 million for this country to go back on its feet." He was counting on Kakashi, assuming that there was 91 million Ryo. Thankfully for him, Kakashi did just that. Kakashi nodded, not suspecting Naruto in the least. "Good, you got some sealing scrolls?" After seeing him nod, he mentioned, "Seal them separately and let's get back. I found what I needed." Hurriedly sealing the other 2 parts, they exited the headquarters. Flashback. End. So that's the end of the flashback right there. After they came back, it all went downhill. People that had abandoned Tazuna had come back to build the bridge. Naruto and Kakashi had informed Tazuna about the money they had taken from Gato's headquarters. Kakashi told him that he didn't need to pay Konoha for the increased difficulty of the mission, and since they had already taken it from Gato, which Tazuna thanked Kakashi massively for. A massive celebration was held and the bridge was complete. The celebration lifted Naruto's spirits greatly, especially the part where Inari looked like he wasn't the host of a pity party anymore. Naruto was subjected to hero worship, a concept he is grossly familiar with. Nevertheless, he took it in stride and indulged himself as best he could. Finally, the day came when the team finally returned to Konoha. They were standing at the end of the bridge, facing a massive crowd. The Konoha Shinobi graciously accepted the thanks given by all the people. They faced the family who had hosted them out at last. Naruto could say without a doubt that he had never seen the small family of three as happy before. Inari, it seemed, had finally stopped clinging on to Kaisa's memory and moved on. I can't thank you guys enough for what you did for all of us. You have done such a great favor to us that I don't know how we can ever repay you. Waving off the protest that came from Naruto, he brightened up even more and said, whenever Konoha needs some serious repairs, just call me and I'll be there. He shook hands with Kakashi and bowed to Sasuke and Sakura, who bowed back in respect. Turning to Naruto, he offered his hand out to shake. Naruto looked surprised for a moment but recovered and gave a strong handshake to him with a genuine smile. We're gonna miss you, Naruto, he said. Much to his amusement, Naruto blushed a little before acknowledging the man's comment. Naruto looked down to see Inari struggling to hold back tears. It was a clear failure, though, as tears flew through like a bursting dam. You told me not to cry, he said as he furiously wiped his tears. Naruto softly smiled as he knelt down. It doesn't apply when you're happy, all right? Don't hesitate to cry if you're happy, promise me? He offered a hand. Inari gave a watery smile but shook Naruto's hand with as much force as he could. Hi, Naruto Nichan! With that, he stood up and with a final goodbye, Kakashi steered his team back to Konoha. A man in the crowd shouted, What are we gonna name this bridge, Tazuna? Everyone murmured similar things, eyes turning to Tazuna. Inari tugged Tazuna's pants. Gigi, let's name it after Naruto Nichan. A childlike suggestion from a small child who wanted something that reminded him of the person he looked up to near to him. But it clicked perfectly in Tazuna's mind. A full smile blossomed on Tazuna's face as his grandson's suggestion. You're right, let's name it the Great Naruto Bridge. He felt it was a great name, considering how Naruto played a big part in giving the town its hope back, and not to mention he brightened up their family considerably. The ride back home was not what Naruto's teammates called pleasant. It was a very unfortunate way for them to discover what a speed freak Naruto was. Sasuke's jealousy reared its head when he saw his blonde teammate telling to Kakashi that they are going too slow and he was speeding up. He'll meet them at the Konoha gates. That did not sit well with Sasuke. With that, Naruto ran ahead of Kakashi, who knew exactly what Naruto was up to. He was trying to rile Sasuke up, and judging from the impressive scowl on Sasuke's face, it was working spectacularly. Kakashi was more than glad to sit back and watch the show. Sasuke increased his speed to catch up to Naruto, who would, unknown to Sasuke, smirk playfully, and increased his speed so that he was just ahead of Sasuke. This continued until Sasuke was panting to just maintain his speed instead of outright falling behind the whole team. When they reached Konoha, no one was gladder than Sasuke, who was barely standing from all the exertion. Naruto, on the other hand, was barely panting. In fact, he seemed to be deep in thought. Sasuke mustered a glare as best he could while panting heavily. You are a freak, Naruto, he said. Naruto, for his credit, blinked once and turned to him with a confused look. Huh? Did you say something? It proved too much for Sasuke, who collapsed. Sakura ran to him, worry written all over his face. Naruto scoffed and turned to Kakashi, who was giving him a strange look. It almost felt like reverence and pride. They grow up so fast. He heard the man mutter while wiping a fake tear from his eye. Naruto rolled his eyes and spoke up. Are we going to the Hokage's office or not? So that's a little cutoff. This is the next part. The visit to the old man was interesting. When Kakashi first told him what had actually happened on the supposedly C-rank mission, he took a deep breath and calmly asked the Genin to wait outside his office while he had a word with Kakashi. Naruto had figured out instantly what was going to happen and walked out, but not before giving a shit-eating grin at Kakashi, whose eyes visibly twitched. He knew that the blonde knew he was going to get chewed out, and he was enjoying it. 15 minutes after the chewing out later, they were called back into the office again, where the Hokage congratulated them on surviving a mission and then congratulated them individually on their performance. Though things got a little bit awkward because he had nothing to praise Sakura for. After telling them to collect their pay from the mission desk, he told them to leave except for Naruto. Kakashi told Naruto to be at their training spot at 8 before walking out. Naruto, I want you to tell me the truth. Are you alright? His eyes were full of concern, and Naruto smiled softly. Gigi, I'm fine. I've made peace with what I did back on the bridge, and if I hadn't done what I did, those thugs would have continued to terrorize the town. Also, giving the country of Wave a way to rebuild itself was enough to lessen the burden on my mind, he explained. Hiruzen searched his face for any signs of lie, and exhaled in relief when he found none. When he had heard it for the first time from Kakashi, he was so stupefied that the pipe had dropped from his mouth. Naruto had done exactly what his father had done in the Third Great Shinobi War. He could not stop himself from looking at the portrait of his now dead successor. Seeing Minato's cold expression, he was reminded of how Minato's mere presence sent enemies running from him. He shuddered once again compared to the similarities between Minato and Naruto. Imagine Naruto instead of Minato. Oh, Minato, if Naruto is even remotely similar to you, he'll change the whole world. Of that I have no doubt. Looking back at Naruto, he could swear he had seen Minato standing behind Naruto, having the same expression on his face. Waving his thoughts away, he said, All right, Naruto, but if you have to talk about anything, you're welcome anytime. He added a smile. Naruto smiled and walked out of the office to the mission desk to collect his money first. The Chunin sitting there glared at him as he handed the money to Naruto. Naruto only gave a cool smile, further infuriating the man. After taking the scroll, he immediately used the Shun swing to get to his apartment. He had a lot of things to do today. After getting refreshed, he sat down at his table and made a list of what to do today. First, put an order out for his Hiraishin kunai. They would be a bit different than those of his father. Second, secure the money he had taken from Gato. That was the easiest, as it won't be going to the bank. Third, work out a deal to get his special kunai for free. He would have to work on that a bit. Nodding to himself, he set to work. The first and last task he would be doing himself, while the middle one he could handle with his clones. He took out a paper and a brush and started sketching ideas for a new seal. The seal would be similar to the Nidaime's Gojo Kibaku Fuda. I think that's what it says. If he wanted his third idea to work, he would have to offer the Higurashi weapons shop owner something interesting enough in return, and his order was quite tall. Ideas swam in his head as he worked out the original seal. Gojo Kibaku Fuda was a simple explosive tag with a small addition, a replication seal that would create an identical tag. The second Hokage had designed the chakra circuit such that it would first replicate the original tag before exploding. Then the other tag would create another tag before exploding as well, and so on and so on. This would result in a chain reaction that had the potential to be as powerful as a nuclear bomb. The best thing was only the first tag would be real. The rest would be copies. He frowned a bit. Obviously, he could not give this explosive tags to Higurashi. The Nidaime must have labeled this as a kinjutsu for a reason. He chewed on his bottom lip and thought, as he tried to think of an alternative. He could modify a normal explosive tag to increase the power, but that was it. What else could he do? His eyes suddenly brightened up as he remembered his battle on the bridge, how he had used the kunai kagebunshin. It was similar to the tandem exploding tag, only it required a bit more chakra. I could simply replace the idea of the exploding tag with the kunai, he thought in satisfaction as he set to altering the seal to suit the kunai. Half an hour, he looked at the tag he had managed to create. It could be mistaken for an exploding tag from the distance, but a mistake was all it was. He created a clone, he took a kunai and wrapped the tag Naruto gave him. Going up to the roof, he faced the direction where the training fields were. Pushing half of his chakra, he threw the kunai. Normally, a hail of kunai suddenly appearing would be a cause of concern, but since it was the clone's kunai, and as such only a construction of chakra, it would dispel along with the clone. The clone watched with a self-satisfied smile as the kunai multiplied greatly. Seeing that the tag worked, he dispelled himself, which caused all the kunai to dispel. Gojo Kunai Renadan was a success. Naruto gave a grin of satisfaction as he went through the memories. The tag worked, which means he could now go to the weapon shop. Gathering the tags, he stood up and created a shadow clone. Instructions already given. Here, wait, let me check something. Alright, I just had to make sure I was recording still because, yeah, that would really suck if I wasn't, you know? But yeah, let's get back into it. Sorry for disrupting. He then used the body flicker to get to the Higurashi weapon shop. Opening the door, he blinked at the girl who was standing behind the counter. She wore a pink Chinese top with a green lower, and her hair had tied in 2 buns. She smiled at him. "Hello, what do you need?" Naruto rose an eyebrow at her. It was obvious that she was a ninja from the headband, and one that was specialized in weapons, judging from her heavily calloused hands. "I'm Uzumaki Naruto. You are?" he asked politely, of course. Tenten replied. "Higurashi Tenten. Nice to meet you." "Ah, so the daughter of the owner," he mused. "Tenten, I need 40 kunai, 30 shuriken, and 7 explosive tags," he said. Tenten wrote down the order and said, "Okay, I'll be back soon." As she walked away, he called out, "Tenten?" She turned around and blinked at him. Naruto smiled and asked, "Could you also ask your father? I have a special order I need to run by him." Naruto narrowed her eyes a bit, which he responded by giving a cool smile. Nonetheless, she went to fetch his order and her father. He looked around the shop a bit, blinking when the memories of his shadow clone came to him. He nodded when he saw where the money was hidden, a place that no one except him knew. That would only be used in case of emergencies. He snapped back to awareness as he saw a large man coming from the back of the shop. He was heavily built, as expected of a weaponsmith. Even though his large stature added the intimidation factor, he had a gentle smile. Tenchi smiled as he saw who had requested his presence. No matter how many times he saw him, Naruto only looked more like his old friend Minato. "Naruto, how can I help you today?" Naruto smiled and nodded his greeting. "Tenchi-san, I have a special order that only you can see." He gave an apologetic look to Tenten, who gave a playful pout, but smiled and went inside the shop. Taking out a piece of paper from the counter and a brush, he started sketching. Tenchi's eyes widened as he started to recognize the shape that was being formed. It was the famed kunai of the Yondaime, only a bit different. While Minato's kunai side prongs were slightly curved in a semicircular shape, Naruto's side prongs were straight, if not a bit shorter than the original design. The middle prong was also longer, unusual, like his father's, but not impractical at all. Seeing where Naruto was going with this, he said, "I can see that you want your design a bit different. It can be done." Naruto then decided to put forward his proposal. "I was also hoping to arrange a deal between us for a future discount on these kunais. A trade, if you will." Tenchi rose an eyebrow. "Oh?" Naruto grinned and pulled out the additional tags that he created. "I think you'll be very interested in these." In 10 minutes, he explained the Gojo Kunai Renadan, how the Renadan worked. At the end of his explanation, he put his offer on the table. "I keep supplying you these tags for free. In return, you supply me my special kunai for free. A fair trade considering their battle potential." Tenchi rubbed his chin. He could see the tags had a very high chance of selling. Hell, he might even say that the value of the tags were higher than the tri-pronged kunai, as it was only an oddly shaped kunai and nothing more. Still, he needed to see how much thought Naruto had put into making these tags. "I don't know, Naruto. Don't you ninjas have a jutsu that multiplies the number of kunai as well? Why would they use this tag and not that jutsu?" Naruto had half expected this question, so he answered. "The kunai Kage Bunshin is a variant of Kage Bunshin, so it uses up a large amount of the user's chakra, leaving them with very little chakra and a high risk of getting chakra exhaustion quickly. In my tags, you only have to push a little chakra to multiply the kunai by a large number." Tenchi grinned. "You have a deal, Naruto. As long as you keep supplying these to me, you can get your order for free." Naruto grinned and held out his hand for Tenchi to shake. "Then we have a deal. You can keep these tags, so how long before I get 30 of my kunai?" Tenchi shrugged. "You can collect them from me tomorrow." Naruto smiled and nodded, walking out the store after collecting and paying for the order he gave to Tenten. He then blinked when he saw it was already early evening. Might as well go get some training done, he thought. Mastering those jutsus back in Wave, he decided as he made his way to the Senju library. He proceeded to spend the entire night training with his shadow clones, which were in an absurd amount of 200. Suiton, Dai Bakufu no Jutsu. To his pleasant surprise, required him to reduce only 2 more hand seals, bringing the number to 8. The Suidan, on the other hand, would require much more training. Reducing the hand seals to 30 was good and all, but the Nidame was able to do it with just 4 hand seals. Finishing his training for the day, he turned in, exhausted, more than he would like to admit. Okay, so it's 12:23. Let me see how long this video is. It's only 24 minutes. So for y'all, I'm going to keep it going. We're about halfway there. That's why I wanted to check. We're about halfway there. So I wanted to check to make sure. I think this might be a video that I might push and finish. Just no promises for now. But, I mean, at the point we are now, we may as well finish it, you know. Give it a little longer bit of an episode. Just as long as it's not an hour. That, like, really. That's it. But let's continue with this. Sorry for rambling a little bit and, blathering. Let's continue. Naruto had a very uneventful start to the day after. He got up at 5, did his regular running routine with increased resistance, came back and showered. He ate omelets for breakfast, played around with the seals until it was 10 minutes to 11, then went to meet his teammates, who were irritated and angry at Kakashi again. He thought that maybe Kakashi might give them something interesting to do. Another C-rank mission or some training. But no, they did some lame D-ranks of taking the weeds out of someone's garden before Kakashi dismissed them, saying something about keep training. After that, he was aimlessly roaming around thinking about what happened after the mission. It was the only highlight of his day until now. Flashback. All right, you're dismissed, Kakashi said in his very ever-lazy tone, eyes not moving from his book. Naruto groaned. Come on, Kakashi-sensei, it's only noon right now. We have half the day to do some training. While Sasuke and Sakura didn't say anything, Naruto knew even they wanted something interesting to happen. Kakashi calmly flipped a page. Naruto, I dismissed you already. You can do your own training now. He looked up from the page. Trust me, it's better that you all train by yourselves right now. Perfect whatever you've learned until now. Eyes smiling, he was gone in a puff of smoke. Sakura turned to Sasuke, blushing lightly. Sasuke-kun, would you go out with me today, now that we're free? As usual, Sasuke scoffed and walked away. You heard Kakashi-sensei. I'm going to train myself. He looked at her from the corner of her eyes. It's better you do too. Right now, you're the weakest member of this team. I don't think that's ever going to change. But, yeah. Let's continue. Naruto winced at his teammates' blunt words, but what he said was true. A simple punch was enough to take Sakura out, which was not a good thing. Shaking his head, he formed a half ram seal and vanished in a wind swing, leaving Sakura to her thoughts. He was walking towards a dango shop when he saw Team 10 come out. Chewing on some dango, smiling, he walked towards them to catch up with Shikamaru and Choji. Oi, Shikamaru, Choji! The mentioned Genin looked up in surprise and smiled when they saw Naruto waving towards him. Yo, Naruto! Shikamaru gave a lazy wave while Choji was more enthusiastic. Ino, on the other hand, scowled a bit. She never liked Naruto. He was too loud and annoying, according to her. Naruto stopped in front of them. What's up? Where's Asuma-sensei? Choji replied. Asuma-sensei dismissed us for the day. What about you, Naruto? Naruto shrugged in response. Kakashi-sensei dismissed us too early, too. Very unusual of him, if you ask me. Ito couldn't hold back her sneer. Well, no one asked you. Naruto glanced at Ino and rose an eyebrow. Nice to see you too, Ino. That was all he said before turning to Shikamaru, asking if he and Choji could spar with him. Shikamaru sighed, muttering troublesome under his breath, but agreed along with Choji. It would allow them to see how far they've come, though he knew that they wouldn't be defeating Naruto anytime soon. Ino scoffed, smirking at Naruto. You really shouldn't be asking to spar with Shikamaru and Choji. They could wipe the floor with you, dead last. Choji did not like what Ino was implying, and he prepared to defend Naruto when Naruto smoked, amusement written all over his face. Oh, really? Ino nodded. Even I could kick your ass. I bet that on the C-rank mission that turned to an A-rank you team went on, Sasuke-kun saved your ass and defeated Zabuza. Naruto looked confused and asked Shikamaru, how do you guys know about that? Shikamaru replied, Asuma-sensei apparently heard it from your sensei and told us. Naruto nodded and turned back to Ino. This was a perfect opportunity for him to teach Ino a lesson of how not to act like a bad word. He asked her, how about a spar, If you said you could beat me, then I wouldn't mind a workout right now before losing to you. Ino smirked, thinking she could easily beat him. Now let's go. Training ground 10. After they reached there, Naruto and Ino stood in front of each other, with Shikamaru acting as referee. This is only a spar. You only knock out the other unconscious, not kill them. Are you ready? Even speaking in his lazy tone, he sounded serious. It must be a Nara thing, he mused. Naruto and Ino nodded, falling into their stance. Shikamaru chopped the air. Hajime! He fell back after that. Naruto, keeping his guard up, decided to bait Ino. Relaxed and put his hands in his pockets. Ino scowled and asked, what the hell are you doing? Naruto cleaned his ear. It's just that you don't threaten me, Ino. Ino snarled and dashed forward, throwing a punch, intending on breaking his nose. Her anger turned into shock when Naruto simply stopped her punch with one hand. He didn't even look like he tried. Shikamaru and Choji were surprised as well, but not as much as Ino. They knew Naruto was not the dead last, even in the academy. If anything, he is perhaps the strongest of the rookie. Ino's going to get beat up, isn't she, Shikamaru? Shikamaru simply hummed in response. Ino was getting very frustrated. Naruto was dodging her attacks like he had all the time in the world. He was blocking them like they had no power behind them. She decided to goad him. Are you too afraid of countering me, or you don't know how to counter at all? Naruto was getting bored of Ino's pathetic attacks and pathetic ways of goading him. Better end this, otherwise I'm gonna fall asleep, he thought. Catching a punch that was coming towards his face, he gave a devastating punch to her gut, knocking the air out. He didn't even give her time to fall to her knees, following with an uppercut to her chin that was strong enough to straighten her up and finishing off with a spinning back kick. Damn! With a spinning back kick that knocked her back a few feet. Jeez! My boy hit her with the 1, 2, 3 combo. Oh my lord. She got a burger, fries, and a freaking large drink. She got a large Sprite. What the hell? Yo. He said, look, let me read this one more time. He gave her a devastating punch to the gut. There's the burger. Knocking the air out. He didn't even give her time to fall to her knees, following with an uppercut to her chin. There's your fries. That was strong enough to straighten her back up and finishing it off with a spinning back kick that knocked her back a few feet. There's your large Sprite. Oh my gosh. Damn. My man's a savage. No, this is where it gets funny. We back in daycare. Ino was barely keeping from crying in pain. Her stomach felt like someone had been jumping on it for an hour, and she was pretty sure a few of her teeth were knocked loose. She barely registered Naruto's mocking voice. You sure showed me, Ino. You're just as pathetic as Sakura. What were you saying about kicking my ass again? Damn, Naruto! What the hell? Oh, Lord. Yo, this crazy, man. He really hit her with it. Gritting her teeth, she fought the pain and began to form hand seals, only to get knocked out. The fuck? She said, let me just give it one more try. Hit the dirt. Naruto shook his head. Some people are nothing but full of air. But then he glanced at the other two who were barely surprised. Well, patch her up and tell her that the next time she blows hot air, it better be fire for her own sake. With that, he walked away. Flashback end. Yo, he really just walked in there, hit Shikamaru, Choji's teammate, with a wombo combo 1, 2, 3, and then just like dipped on out of there. Disrespectful. I don't know if you can hear this music that I got in my background. I got my Alexa rolling, by the way. It's just lo-fi. You know, it's like my calm down music because I was doing homework. So I'm just going to get a little tidbit because, you know, this chapter's almost over, so I like to talk a little bit to you guys. First and foremost, go drink your water. I've got my cup right here. I've got my metal bottle with my water in it. Go drink some water. Also, if you have any makeup schoolwork, pop this video on, put it in the background, and do your schoolwork. You know, you need to get good grades to graduate, you know, because I'm trying to graduate right now. I'm in my senior year of high school right now. I'm about to graduate. So I know I had some schoolwork that I had to do earlier today, too. So if you guys have some schoolwork or if you guys are struggling with school, you know, put this on, play it in the background. It's, you know, you don't have to pay attention. It's fine. I understand. And, you know, do your schoolwork for real, honestly. Yeah, drink your water, do your schoolwork, you know, and if you have trouble concentrating, drink, whoa, chew on some gum or something. But either way, I'll get back into this video for you guys, but that was my little tidbit. So if you guys are tired or, you know, if you guys, you know, put this on in the background and listen, you feel me? But yeah, I digress, and let's continue. Naruto was snapped out of his musings when he heard something behind him. Glancing back, he barely registered the urge to smack his forehead when he saw a brown box with 2 holes facing him. Oh, Lord. I know who this is. It was an eventful day, meeting the old man's grandson. He had managed to somehow become a rival of Konohamaru in becoming the Hokage. He knocked some sense into that boy's head, showing him that not everybody bowed to him just because he was the Hokage's grandson. Ever since that day, he'd become an object of hero worship. Turning to the box, he said with some exasperation, Konohamaru, square boxes with holes don't exist, you know. A squeaky, muffled voice came from the box. Wow, discovering my presence is early, as I expected from my rival and my hero. There was a bright explosion of colored smoke, from which 3 figures emerged, coughing. Hey, you used too much powder. It was then they noticed Naruto looking at them with something akin to amusement. Naruto was looking at Konohamaru and the 2 other kids he had never seen. One was a boy with black hair, glasses, and a runny nose. The other was a girl with orange hair, a slight blush on both of her cheeks, and Konohamaru grinned up to Naruto. Boss, you have some time, right? Naruto looked confused at what he was trying to say at first, but quickly pieced it together. Hyper 8-year-old kid with friends, asking if he's free or not. Yep, they wanted to play ninja with him. How about you humor them? Kurama asked with a grin. Naruto rolled his eyes. If I humor them, Kurama, I'd be stuck with them all day. That's something I don't want to do, he said with resignation, turning his attention back to Konohamaru. Well, I do have some time. I won't be playing ninja with you. You guys get too carried away. He tried to gently let them down, then something struck him. Hey, you haven't introduced me to your friends. Who are they? I'm Udon, and I like numbers, the black-haired boy greeted in what was the deadliest voice possible. I'm Moegi, the most beautiful kunoichi in Konoha, the orange-haired girl said in a bubbly voice. Naruto smiled. God, how innocent are these kids? What's the point of a ninja playing ninja? A voice that sounded detached came. All of them turned to look at Sakura, who looked like someone had just told her Sasuke was gay. Oh, snap! I don't know why that made me laugh, but I just can envision that look on her face, like, of just despair. Just like, yeah. Naruto's expression became his usual bored, indifferent look. Sakura, what are you doing here? Before Sakura could reply, Konohamaru nudged Naruto with a sly look. Hey, boss. She's your, right? He asked, holding up a pinky with a smirk. Naruto chuckled. No, Konohamaru, she's just my teammate. They seemed to fire up Konohamaru even more. Just what I'd expect from my rival. Her forehead is huge and her chest is flat as a board. Naruto's head snapped to Sakura to see her reaction. Konohamaru might as well have signed his death wish. Sakura's mood did a full 180 after hearing the kid wearing the blue scarf. She got a menacing look on her face and cracked her knuckles, clearly saying, "You are dead." Naruto pushed Konohamaru. Run, kid. I'll meet you later. Konohamaru needed more pushing as he ran in the opposite direction with his friends, screaming in horror. Naruto shook his head and made to follow him, ignoring Kurama's chuckles. That kid has a lot to learn, he thought as he made a shadow clone who took after Konohamaru while he took a different path. If he was fast enough, his little rival wouldn't have bumps in his head. He kept his sensing active to track Sakura's signature and made sure his turns such that he would meet them in the opposite direction. What he did not expect was face the back of two Shinobis' age, one boy and a girl. The boy holding up Konohamaru, who was terrified. That's not good, he thought as he perfectly switched with his clone, and that was when he got a good look at the foreigners. The one that held Konohamaru, who was terrified. Oh, snap, my bad. The one that held Konohamaru honestly looked like a cat, with how his headgear looked. He was wearing a face full of paint, of all things. Black sandals, black shirt, and black pants. The other one was the one that caught his attention in a way that no girl has caught his attention before. He somehow couldn't stop staring at her. She was by far the most beautiful kunoichi he had ever laid his eyes on. She wore a single light purple colored off-the-shoulder garment that extended to halfway down her thighs. With a red slash tied around her waist, she wore a fishnet over her exposed shoulder, along with on her left thigh and right calf. She was also carrying a large fan on her back. She had her hair tied up in 4 ponytails, with a rather developed chest for her age, which he guessed was a year higher than them, curved in all the right places. Slightly tan skin, sandy blonde hair, and alluring teal eyes. Tamari noticed the blonde staring at her and couldn't help the slight blush that came onto her face. He was pretty tall, easily above a little... Jesus, Mary and Joseph, man. Oh, my Lord, I can't read right now. He was pretty tall, easily a bit above 5 feet, and obviously well built if how his clothes fit him were anything to go by. His hair, to her pleasant surprise, was a very golden shade of blonde, bordering on yellow. She looked at his eyes. Her blush darkened a bit. His eyes were the most beautiful azures she had ever seen, staring at her with curiosity and something else she couldn't identify, but it gave her a warm feeling. She shook her head and focused on her brother, who was glaring at the kid in annoyance. That hurt, you damn brat. He was clearly pissed off. Naruto decided that now was the time to intervene. With a hidden signal to his shadow clone, spoke up. You might want to put him down, Kabuki boy. That only seemed to piss him off even more. Yeah, what if I don't? Then he froze, getting the unmistakable feeling of a kunai on his neck. I don't need to say it, right? Tamari looked with wide eyes as the blonde who was standing before them had somehow made a clone who was holding a kunai to her brother's neck, and they hadn't even seen him move. He's good, she thought, as she saw Kankuro grudgingly release the boy, who ran and hid behiin the blonde's legs. A second later, a pebble hit his hand, which he clutched in pain and cried out, "Who did that?" Naruto couldn't help the sigh that came at. Didn't he say he was going to train? He had already sent Sasuke, who was standing on the branch of the tree behind him, bouncing a pebble in his hands with a superior look on his face. Interestingly, he also sensed another guy who was giving off a very malicious feeling and oozing off killing intent like nobody's business. Deciding to address it later, he turned his attention back to in front of him. "Sasuke-kun!" Sakura shrieked. Naruto rubbed his ringing ears as the terrible soprano. Tamari looked at Sasuke. He's cute, but nowhere as handsome as the blonde," she smirked, eyes turning back to check out Naruto. Kankuro snarled and made to grab the package on his back, which Naruto deduced to be a puppet, judging from the sand headbands and the fact that Suna is known for puppets. When he decided to intervene, Tamari asked, "You're going to use Karasu, Kankuro?" Wait! His sudden explanation momentarily stopped the sand shinobi. Wait, whoa! He pointed to the trees behind him. "I just wanted to know if that guy standing behind my teammate is with you or not." Both of their eyes widened along with Sasuke's, who whipped around to see the redhead standing upside down on the tree branch. He had the kanji of love on his forehead, teal eyes with black rings around his eyes, giving him an appearance like a tanuki. He was carrying around a gourd on his back. He disappeared in a whirl of sand and reappeared by the side of the puppet kid. "Kankuro, stop it. We're not here for trouble. Stop embarrassing our village," he spoke. Oh, snap! Wrong voice, man! I had a voice plan for Gaara, too. It was going to be smooth and silky, just like this. I'm going to redo this one, okay? "Kankuro, stop. We're not here to cause trouble. Stop embarrassing our village," he spoke, in a voice so cold that even Naruto shriveled. However, the reaction of the Sand Shinobi was even more scared. Kankuro stammered out an apology. "Gaara! They started it. Shut up or I'll kill you," Gaara said in a deadly voice. Kankuro shut up immediately. Gaara turned to the Konoha Shinobi. "Apologies to you guys." They made to walk off when Sasuke jumped in front of Naruto and demanded in an arrogant voice, "You there! What's your name?" pointing to Gaara. All three of them turned with Gaara speaking. "Sabaku no Gaara. What's yours?" Sasuke gave off a challenging smirk. "Uchiha Sasuke. I wasn't talking to you," Gaara said monotonously, eyes turning to Naruto, who straightened up. "Uzumaki Naruto," he said in a strong voice. Damn, yo! My voices are getting messed up right now, so I'm sorry, guys. I think this is later in the video anyways. Yeah, it's 42 minutes in. Let me get some water, and we'll finish this chapter out on a high note, okay? Just give me a second. Water. Drink your water, because if you don't, you'll probably die of dehydration, truth be told. I'm gonna go back, okay? "Uchiha Sasuke, I wasn't talking to you," Gaara said monotonously, eyes turning to Naruto, who straightened up. "Uzumaki Naruto," he said in a strong voice. Eyes shifting to Tamari, he smiled and asked, "What's yours?" Tamari smiled in return. "Sabaku no Tamari, nice to meet you." They looked into each other's eyes and kept staring, neither wanting to look away. Unfortunately, Sakura chose this moment to speak up. "Damn you, Sakura! Always blocking my boy!" Snap. Damn. That's crazy. That is crazy. "Listen, although Konoha and Suna are allies..." Wait. "Our treaty prevents shinobi from entering each other's villages without permission. State your purpose." Naruto simply looked on, his face not betraying anything. Tamari spoke up, holding up her passport. "As you can see, we're getting of Sunohagakure no Sato, Kaze no Kuni. We've come to this village to take part in the Chunin exams." She gave a mocking smile. "Don't you know being a genin of the host village?" Naruto gave a shake of his head from behind Sakura, clearly mouthing, "Our sensei hasn't told us yet." Tamari had thankfully seen him and received his message, giving a nod. The three Sand siblings then turned and walked away, leaving Team 7 with Konohamaru and his friends. So that's another part of this. There's just a little bit left. There is just a little bit left. Okay. Man, the song is playing in my room right now. It's freaking great. Okay, listen. You know, I've always wanted to... Anyway, I'm going to get a little off track. I've always wanted to start a live, like a gaming live. And I could do that, actually. I have this set up on my Xbox. I have the face cam and everything. So if you guys are watching this, or if somebody sees the end of this, I'll bring it up in the next video as well in the beginning, just in case somebody doesn't see it. if you guys would like to actually watch me live on this YouTube channel, play some video games, you know, maybe some Naruto Ninja Storm or some Shinobi Striker or something, if you guys would like to see that, just let me know in the comment section down below. You feel me? I'll bring it up in the beginning of the video. Just let me know. Okay? Because if you want to see a live stream on this channel, I do stream on Twitch a little bit, not a lot. But if you want to see me live stream on this channel, I'd be more than happy to. It's pretty fun. I enjoy my streams. And I think I do a pretty good job of being entertaining. I'm a pretty funny guy, naturally. I've been trying to not let myself ramble too much in these videos. I feel like that kind of degrades the video quality overall. But, you know, streams do get fun, especially on Twitch, because I do have some people that pop up over there. So, yeah, just let me know if you see this part, or I'll just bring it up in the next part, because I'll probably be dropping part 4 today. Man, I've got a lot of recording to do. I've got to record the next episode after this as well, just so I can have it a little stocked up. But I digress, and let's continue. You all should already know why people from other villages are here. The Hokage addressed the assembly of Jonin and Chunin. Kakashi spoke up. Is it that time of year already, Hokage-sama? Awesome replied to him, I believe so. I've already seen a few Shinobi, the age of our Genin, in our village. Kurenai spoke up. When is it, Hokage-sama? 7 days from now, Kurenai-chan. Now, will all the Jonin step forward who are in charge of the newest batch of Genin? Asuma, Kakashi, and Kurenai stepped forward. Hiruzen gave them a contemplative stare and asked, do you wish to enter any of your Genin in the exams? Kakashi spoke up. From the squad, lead Team 7, I recommend Uchiha, Sasuke, Uzumaki Naruto, and Haruna Sakura to the Chunin exams under the name Hatake Kakashi. Asuma spoke next. Oh lord, this is going to be like introductions. Asuma spoke next. From the squad that I lead, Team 10, I recommend Nara Shikamaru, Akamichi Choji, and Yamanaka Ino to the Chunin exams under the name Sarutobi Asuma. Kurenai was last. From the squad I lead, Team 8, I recommend Hinata Hyuga, Inuzuka Kiba, and Aburame Shino to the Chunin exams under the name Yuhi Kurenai. Sorry, bro, my voices are getting whacked. The crowd behind them erupted into murmurs. All 3 of them are nominating their teams? All the Genins being entered are fresh rookie. It's been so long since rookies have entered the Chunin exams. Iruka, who had been standing in the back watching his former students who were not even 1 year into his career get nominated for the Chunin exams, couldn't hold it anymore. Please wait, Hokage-sama. Permission to speak? Hiruzen gave him a silent nod to continue. Iruka then spoke frantically. Excuse me for saying this, but 9 students were once my student in the academy. They need more experiments. Experiments? Jesus Christ, man. I can't read right now. I'm tripping over my words. They need more experience before they enter the Chunin exams. Kakashi knew that Iruka was worried about Naruto, but he was now Kakashi's student, not Iruka's. So he spoke up in a serious tone that betrayed his lazy posture. I became a Chunin when I was 6 years younger than Naruto. Iruka's comeback was spot on. Don't compare Naruto to yourself, Kakashi. He's different. Kakashi knew that Naruto could easily ace the exams, but he addressed the issue that was common among all Genin. The Genin are starting to believe that a shinobi's life is easy. Putting them in a dangerous situation might set them straight. Iruka began to speak. But they're not your students anymore, Iruka. They are my subordinates now, and as such, I'm the one who will make decisions for them. He sternly reminded the gentle Chunin sensei. What? Bro, my dog is tripping right now. My bad. I digress and let's continue. Iruka, I see where you're coming from. Iruka lightened up a bit. Which is why the rookies will be put through a special preliminary round. Dismissed. Okay. Man. Okay, but listen. So, you guys don't need to know this, but I'm going to put it in at the end anyways, because, I feel like it's a very flippant and immature attitude to have because I can, but I'm going to add this in because I just feel like I kind of want to. So listen, guys, I know I said that I would finish the series, What If Naruto is Consumed by Darkness? And I had every intention, and I still have some intentions behind completing it, but I just feel like, and it's not because it's not doing well, but like it's because I'm using it as an excuse to upload when I don't have a video prepared for this series. So it's taking away a little bit from the schedule because I was posting this once a day. And so when I don't have time to record or something, I'll just post that series. It's just like a little, not like a one-off series that I can just post. And, it's just like really quick, and it's just like, it's something that I can post. So I don't know if I want to finish it, and I don't even believe that you guys are enjoying it. I mean, there might be one person, so if there is, just comment that, but yeah. So I'm really heavily debating on it, and it's really not because of views, because I genuinely don't care. When I started posting this series, I didn't I didn't think that it was gonna get as many views as it is, or as many comments, because I really base it off comments. So I didn't think it was gonna get as many comments as it is, and like, that's just a genuine appreciation for me. I genuinely appreciate it, and I really have love for all the people that I've watched so far. So thank you all very much. I really do appreciate, like, every single one of you guys, genuinely from the bottom of my heart. And I'm feeling very grateful that there are any people that would listen in or watch, or, that would like to be interested in the things that I post. And so it's not about the views for that series. It's really just about the fact that I'm using it as an excuse for this one. So I don't know if I'm going to keep posting it. But I guess the secret word is going to be lemon. And without further ado, I think I'm going to end this part off right here. Not even think. I know I'm going to end this part off right here. Probably going to record the next part. And a little bit after this, I'm going to eat lunch. But yeah, so this was part 12 of What If Naruto Was Like Minato. And shoot. Like, comment, subscribe. I respond to all comments. I heart all comments. And yeah, I'm out. Deuces.